All right, well, we've got some positive news surrounding Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. However, why are the Eagles losing their team physicians? Plus, Nolan Smith's confident in year 2, and you should be too. And the Isaiah Rodgers hype is real, but what position is he actually going to play? As the Birds' fastest man joined to discuss that and everything else in Vic Fangio's defense. So let's talk about it. But first, let's run it. What's up, guys? Hopefully you're enjoying the summer and taking advantage of the time like Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley are. With NBC Philly sharing that QB1 and RB1 have been training and working out together every day despite camp starting in a month, which is honestly more of the real Jalen than whatever WIP is claiming.
When he said the offense is 95% different, new, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's 20% different. It's not 95%. It's only about 20%. I found that out from multiple people. It's only about 20%.
So why do you think he said that?
To make an excuse. The offense is Kellen Moore's. It's not Nick Sirianni's. It's Kellen Moore's offense. And we already know it. Nick Sirianni is a very good coach. I know there's people that don't, and Joe, you're probably one of them, that don't want to believe that. The players respect him. Maybe Jalen has some questions, but it's not the head coach. If you're worried about the offense, then it's Kellen Moore. And he gets along with Kellen Moore. So, what are you trying to do? It's just he better have a good year. And I think he'll have a better year, but I think he needs to have a good year or they're going to Carson Wentz him if he doesn't have a good year.
Sorry, but we're not Carson Wentzing Jalen Hurts if he doesn't have a good year. I mean, the dude literally just went to a Pro Bowl with the most vanilla offense you can get. Sure, there were a few too many turnovers, but Jalen's shown the ability to learn and grow and battle through adversity at every level. Yet having said that, I'm done with the whole spewing hate towards number one at this point.
So tired of you getting angry and yelling all the time. It's exhausting.
It really is, and Jalen's not leaving Philly anytime soon. However, the Eagles' official team physicians are. After the Inquirer reported Roseman Orthopedic Institute ended the partnership, citing the risk of being found liable again in another large medical malpractice. Like the one that involved former Eagles team captain Chris Maragos when he sued Rothman for medical negligence when they operated on his torn PCL. However, the issue was that they ignored damage to his meniscus, leading to a premature end to his professional career. Of course, Maragos was awarded $43.5 million, but the fact that he can't move around without a limp is no doubt deflating. Although on Rothman's side, they've said to be ending its contract due to an increase in large jury awards and surge in malpractice cases filed in the city. Ultimately, it's a tough place to be on both sides. However, don't worry, the Eagles are not going without health care, since the team's chief medical officer, Arsh Denoda, is a Penn medicine physician. Anyway, while those contracts are having a flamethrower taken to him, Nolan Smith is gifting flamethrowers.
Another off-the-field aspect, Fletch got a humongous ranch, and I actually brought him his Christmas present this year. I know a lot of people not going to hit us. I brought him a flamethrower, and it was a really nice flamethrower. It was a really nice Christmas present, and he loves it because he got about, I think, 10 acres or more. No, that's like 10,000 acres.
In Texas, right?
In Texas, yes. Not 10, but 10,000 acres, and he got a humongous ranch. And I told him that's something that in Georgia, I didn't think I'd learn something from up north, but in Georgia, I say, man, we got land. We like land and we like ranches.
This is actually the second time an Eagles player has gotten a flamethrower. Remember, Cam Jurgens got one last Christmas during the team's annual gift exchange. However, my hope is that Nolan's bringing that same fire this season, with Bleeding Green Nation listing the second-year player as one of the 4 players to make a big leap this next season. After all, Nolan barely even played last year. And like John Solis pointed out, in the Birds' first 10 games, the most snaps Nolan played was 9. Yeah, I'm not even making that up. Yet even with the slight uptick later, he still only averaged 11 snaps per game in his rookie year.
That doesn't make sense.
I mean, at least Nolan got a few more snaps in the playoff game, and he did make the most of it since he was the second highest graded edge rusher in the game, registering a half sack, 4 tackles, and a quarterback hit in just 16 snaps. So look, even though it's a really small sample size, you put Nolan Smith's athleticism and speed in Fangio's system, and you already know I'm confident in his ability.
Man, they realized that he one of them dogs and he explosive, and he started to get the slide when they picked that up because they was giving him one-on-ones, and I was watching him, and I say, hey, if we ever get the man side together, we work games. And, man, I just love my dog, but, man, once they start realizing, oh, we got to slide to that man. Mama, that's that man. So
who knows? Maybe in year 2 we see that dominance. Of course, I'd say the same thing for Zack Baun based on the fact that Fangio has spoken very highly of him, and he continues to look like a clear favorite to start at linebacker based on OTAs, which I talked about more in a previous video. However, the other guy Stoleness brought up is Tyler Steen, due to mean Steen being a bigger than normal guard and also an outstanding athlete. Obviously, there's the whole Jeff Stoutland effect, and then who doesn't remember Stout comparing him to Brandon Brooks?
He's a bigger body. He's a bigger, like
I always look at, like, Brandon Brooks to me is that is the person, that's who you're looking for. Ain't many of them around. That's who you're looking for. Size, length of arms, explosive power, all these things, lower body flex, all these things are like all into one. And it's like, holy cow, how do you find these? And so you're always comparing everybody. In my mind, I'm comparing them like to him. He has a little bit of that, like a lot of that actually. Tyler does.
I mean, not really anything else you need to say about Steen. Although the benefit of potentially having Mekhi Becton as another backup option is pretty nice. Anyway, the last name on this list is Kelee Ringo, with John saying the most obvious choice would be to go with Eagles slam dunk first-round pick and Quinyon Mitchell, but there's no fun in that. So he's siding with the 21-year-old as a secondary player most likely to break out. And yeah, I mean, everyone remembers Ringo's hype and ability. Plus, our lads had the Philly dog listed as someone who has the tools of a top-flight NFL corner before the draft. However, as we saw, he wasn't able to see the field much, but I think you could see the potential was there, which is what we're now seeing since the takeaway from OTAs has been that Ringo looked drastically different and could very realistically win out for the other corner spot opposite of Slay. Yet personally, I'm with SI's Albert Breer that Isaiah Rodgers has been a revelation. Like, the dude's been making plays and showing no rust after literally being away from the game for a year. So how about we give away an Isaiah Rodgers jersey? Just, make sure to do me a favor and hit that like button. Obviously, make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. And then go down to the comments section and type in Go Birds, where I'll pick a winner via the randomized comment picker on my Friday night live stream on June 28th. By the way, as you'll see in a sec, this isn't just a normal Isaiah Rodgers jersey, it's an autographed, personalized Eagles Isaiah Rodgers jersey. So I don't know, maybe John is sleeping on Rodgers at the corner spot, which feels like a good time to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Bear Mattress. Because after all, it's the offseason and summer, so not really a better time to be catching up on sleep. And after months with Bear's premium fiberglass-free mattresses customized the way I sleep, I've definitely noticed a difference. Also, they're currently running their summer special, so head over to bearmattress.com/Philly special to get a discount that's higher than what's offered on site. But don't just take my word for it, since Bear also ran a survey on over 300 of their recent customers where 82% saw an improvement in their sleep quality on their new Bear mattress. And heck, with studies saying you'll spend 26 years sleeping, and the average person spending another 7 years trying to fall asleep, how about maximizing your comfort to save a little time and money? I mean, Bear knows that everybody has different preferences and sleep positions, which is why they've made a sleep quiz that will help remove all the guesswork. For example, I'm more of a side sleeper who likes a softer mattress, while my wife sleeps on her back and also likes a softer mattress. Which, based on our results, Bear matched us up with their elite hybrid mattress, so we both got what we wanted. And then after placing the order, they shipped the mattress directly to our front door, where we were easily able to unroll and set up our new one, with the help of the little ones. Also, if you sleep hot like me or just struggle to go to sleep, you're in luck, because Bear's sleep recovery technology uses a Celliant-powered fabric to help you stay cool throughout the night. And all of Bear's mattresses are Green Guard certified, Certi Pure US certified, and EcoFlex fiberglass free. Now, the best part about all of this is that Bear delivers your mattress right to your front door with free shipping in the US. Again, I understand if it makes you nervous to buy something that you actually haven't used. I felt the exact same way, but it was the Bear's 120-night free trial that sold me. Plus, they also have a lifetime warranty, and they even offer financing options and flexible payment plans. I'm telling you, you can't beat the quality, and I love my Bear mattress, and I think you would too. So if you're looking to upgrade your sleep, head to bearmattress.com/Philly special and use my code Philly special to get 40% off your Bear mattress plus $400 in additional sleep accessories. And again, this is higher than what's being offered on site, so get it while you can. All right, obviously, the other speculation in question was can or will Isaiah Rodgers play the slot? So I figured why not ask him, as the Birds' fastest player revealed Philly's plans for him and everything else for the expectations this season. I just gotta say, selfishly, I am super excited that you're in Philly. I know a lot of people are very excited that you're here, adding the much-needed secondary depth, everything else there. But also, I mean, lots of people know, I think just about everyone at this point, but you had to sit out for a year. I mean, the suspension, taking some time off away from the game, that had to be super difficult. But I'm curious, just having that extra time, I don't know, reflection, spending time with family, your kids, how did that change, if at all, but how did that change your perspective maybe on life, on football, just anything there for that time away?
It definitely was very eye-opening, for sure. I think that year off made me understand that, for one, the league doesn't need anybody, you know what I'm saying? And rules are rules, and you know, they're placed there to be followed. And, you know, I did my time and just understanding that, you know, it's a moment in life where your name is out there. The whole world knows you, whether it's good or bad. So I think my main thing about that was just how am I going to respond to it? You know, and I think the motive now is just, you know, just trying to stay in a positive light, you know, with everyone around me and everyone, you know, in the world. So I think just coming back from that, the year off, it just made me a whole different, better person, man.
That's awesome. I'd love to, I mean, just speaking, obviously the accountability, like you mentioned, saying like, hey, the rules are the rules. Also, the fascinating part to me and hearing reports from OTAs, kind of the other, inklings that we got there. But the fact that there's very limited rust, if at anything, and I know you mentioned previously in the presser, like you kept an NFL schedule and things like that, but was that like your own idea? I'm curious, how you came up with that. And then also, like, can you walk me through a little bit more of what that typical schedule was like?
It was easy. It was like on Sundays, I would kind of watch the film as if I would kind of be out there. And then I would use my Tuesdays just to relax and chill. Mondays, I would kind of Sundays I do cardio as if I played. Mondays, I would watch the film as if I played. But I was watching on NFL Live or whatever. They got like all the views and stuff that I have access to. And I'll just watch whatever week it was. I'll watch that week of the year I played. So preseason, I watched preseason against Buffalo the week 1, things like that. So I kind of just stayed at that pace. And on Tuesdays, and I was off just like I would have been. And then like Wednesday was my like go hard day coming back off. So I really just stayed at that. I probably did it for about like 9 weeks. And then I just got heavy into the gym and just focused on that. So that's when I like bought a gym for a garage. And then I just, just went all out in the gym.
Honestly, too, just taking that extra step, I think that speaks a lot towards your mindset. And quite frankly, you said that as well. I believe Reuben Frank was the one at the press conference who had asked, like, okay, look, I understand you were on this NFL schedule, but like, you showing no rust and having time off, because everyone or lots of people were saying like, man, this dude, there's hype, there's expectation on Isaiah Rodgers, but is he going to have some rust because he's been out of the league? And you've seen other players that, take some time off and it's hard to get back in that transition. Now, granted, we're just OTAs, so we're not getting further there, but still, like, it was enough to have Reuben Frank say, this is not normal. And you mentioned, hey, it's the mindset, lining up against guys like A.J. Brown, Avonte Smith. Can you talk through a little bit more, though, or elaborate more on kind of how you go about that, and have you always had that mindset, but how do you go about that in trying to envision or prepare for playing against some of those top receivers?
It was hard at first knowing that, they're not really like in front of you. But I think once I once the season officially started and I really realized like, damn, I'm like really not out there. I think that's when I locked in like headphones on and just visualizing tunnel vision, like, okay, these are the great receivers I'm going to be practicing against, and then just really just locking in day by day and just understanding that time is be here faster than you think. And then I know where it just came up, but I don't think it was hard after probably the first few weeks but the first 3 weeks in the league, like when the league started, it was tough. It was tough, man.
That would be certainly. I would imagine just the FOMO of missing out on everything else there. I'm not gonna lie though, seeing your workout videos, the hype videos there too, and everything else, that got a lot of people fired up, including myself. I just got to ask, the all white helmet that you got there, where did that come from? Because as soon as that showed up, people were going, "We need all white unis," which I'm in agreement there. But where did you get the white helmet from?
I just like to be different, man. I think I take that, if you look good, you feel good, you play good. So I take that into the heart. So I had made a black one back in Indy, and then all of a sudden they ended up making black helmets. So I think I just try to do something that, nobody's done or nobody has. And I just I didn't want to even have the midnight green or the black helmet or Kelee Ringo, and everyone's like, oh, he already got his helmet. Like, nah, I'm not in contact with the equipment staff or anything like that. So I just went out my own way, bought my own F7 helmet, and I had a boy just hook it up for me. So other than that, I just like to be different, stand out, and definitely the media went crazy over it. It was like, nah, it's not in the works, it's not real. That's just Isaiah Rodgers custom there, man.
I can appreciate that too, because honestly, you did start what seemed to be a trend or a feel of a trend of saying like, there it is. I knew it. We're gonna have a whiteout helmet, whiteout uniforms, everything like that. It would be pretty legit. Not gonna lie, if we actually saw those. But that's awesome. I did want to ask too, just because you talking about that mindset change, being able to envision going up against other wide receivers. Obviously, going in OTAs there, but can you think of? I'll put you on the spot maybe a little bit here, but can you think of who the top receiver, if you had to name top receiver you've matched up against, going one-on-one in your career? Is there one, or maybe if you want to just say a couple guys, if you can't think of one in particular? But I'm curious who you might say is the top receiver you've matched up against.
I get this conversation a lot, but I always say Davante Adams for sure, because he's the most competitive that I actually lined up against throughout the entire game. Like when I played Justin Jefferson, we had Stephon Gilmore guarding him a lot. Mm-hmm. And then when it was, I always say my number 2 is either Devontae Smith 2, and 2 be probably like the Jalen Waddle when I played him in Miami. But Avonte Smith, I'm not even saying it because I'm part of Philly, but if you look at the stats, he's probably the only one who I think he put like 40, 50 yards on me, and I was hurt. I was hurt that game, like just looking at the stats because I wasn't trying to go over that year. But he was the only one, and he caught the ball. I remember lining up against him. I'm like, oh, this is Devontae Smith, Heisman Trophy winner, boom. And he trains out in Tampa, so I never really met him. Mm-hmm. And this was one of the years they went to the Super Bowl. And he caught a crazy, like, 20-yard comeback, and he was like, give me the ball, feed me. I'm like, I like his energy. Because I don't argue on the field. But he had me fired up. But now he's a straight baller, bro. Now we cool, so.
Heck yeah. Do y'all train together at all? I'm just curious. Being in Tampa, you're from Tampa. No? Okay, I just wonder if there's any get together there. But I guess enough training, honestly, like OTAs, everything else. You guys get a lot of one-on-ones in training camp and everything there. So
definitely.
I am curious because, Philly called, you mentioned throughout the process or the suspension, Philly wanting you here. And I think the words were that you were saying it was a place you wanted to be as well in the press conference. So can you elaborate more on what it was? It may be several different items, but the organization, the team, any connections, obviously, some of those as well. But I'm just curious what it meant to you as far as the place you wanted to be.
They had a joint practice against Indy last year for the preseason game. And I was already training. I started back this little tour I was about to do, like a docu-series called Return of Zay. And I was just, locked in. And my agent called me and was like, hey, Philly wants you right after. I think they had a fight or something. They ended practice early. Yeah. So it's like, Philly wants you. I'm like, want me? What do you mean? I'm suspended. He's like, they want you. So I'm like, well, I want to be there. Like, what are we doing? And they ended up calling on my dad's birthday. And I had a few photos of my dad with Eagles uniform. So it just all played a factor. My cousin played there. And then I'm like, who wouldn't want to play for Philly? So I'm like, it. And then next thing you know, I think like a week later, I ended up signing. So it was just, and then for a team to just sit there and say, let's take this chance on this guy, knowing he's not coming back anytime soon, got months off, and just them trusting that my process is going to actually work, knowing I'm going to continue to work. And them just understanding that, he's going to have a year off. He's going to come back and be the person that we want him to be. And it's all playing pretty good so far. So
love the connection too. Like you say, the Rodgers Cromartie, the connection with Philly, the interest there, could totally relate. I mean, I'm obviously biased, as a lot of people are, but it's like, hey, we wanted you to be in Philly, so the fact that the feeling is both sides there, it's like, okay, that says a lot. But you also talked about the locker room, and naturally, again, being away for a year, that's tough to be away from the team and the guys, even though you are kind of training, keeping up that mindset. I know it's very limited time, so I'm not expecting anything, major, but just in the limited action, the time that you've gotten with the group and the guys, what's different about maybe the biggest difference, or what are some differences about this locker room as opposed to other ones that you've been in?
I just try to compare it. I just try to act like I'm a rookie now because I'm so new. I try to compare it to my rookie year in Indy, and it was kind of difficult in Indy because I was, it was COVID year and stuff like that. But I think my rookie year in Indy, I didn't start talking or being myself until like a couple of weeks in the season. Probably like week 5 after I scored my kick return, then I started being myself. Here, I'm already myself. Everybody already took me under the belt, under the wings, and just I'm finally myself probably within like a month or two of being there. And then I kind of had to understand that I'm actually like the older guy in the group because everybody's so young, besides Avonte, Maddox, and like Darius Slay. But I think everybody else is like really like 22, 23, 24. I'm like, God damn. Then I think Kelee called me an OG one time, and I was like, he was like, appreciate that, OG. And I was like, nah, I'm not an OG. I think once he said that, I had to realize like I'm actually like the older guy in the room. So I think it's kind of fun though.
It is fun, yeah, to your point. Because what is Keelee's like, 21 still? Is he about to turn 22, I think?
22.
He's like 22 now. All right, guys, I was going to say, yeah, it is like every time I look it up, I'm like, the age is like very young group in the secondary, but it's good because, hey, you got lots of competition, lots of talent there. You did mention, like you say, Slay, Avonte, some of the older guys and the vets there as well. But I'm curious to see how this group blends, especially within Vic Fangio's defense. Again, I know it's very brief and not having a whole lot of time so far, but just early takeaways from Fangio's defense. Any I guess differences or maybe the biggest positives there that you've seen so far within Fangio?
I think it's I'm more comfortable in this defense. I get to be myself. I get to roam. I get to like make plays on the ball faster, I get to react faster based off the type of like schemes and how he's like laying it out for us to play. He just let us be us. And then the main factor is, he designs the plays and the schemes, but it really comes down to like who your DB coach is. And having Christian Parker in my corner, he's like a younger guy and he understands the game, closer than I, like age wise. And he's been with Pastor Tang, so just him understanding the game, he lets you be you, he lets you have fun, and he's definitely gonna be on you. But he's a great coach, and he like helps you understand it in his point of view, and then he also lets you understand it in just yours as well, and let you like play your style of play, not just everybody playing the same way, everybody being robotic. So it's fun, man.
Honestly, and I'm just saying, I think everyone appreciates you hearing that or saying that, but myself included, because it's like, hey, you know what? Maximize the strengths of the individuals, make sure that it's efficient, but also exploit the strengths that these guys have. So it's a great segue, because I was going to ask you this as well within Christian Parker and his difference and change. You brought up Davante Adams, and in Christian Parker's press conference, he even said like, hey, the first time that I really noticed Isaiah Rodgers, he popped up on film, was we were scouting the Raiders and we were looking at Davante Adams. We saw this dude making plays on Davante Adams. It's like, okay, hey, he's got some game there. So I'm curious if you did hear that or see that. So your main your takeaways from hearing that, if you did, or if you haven't, just hearing it now. But also, like you said there, I mean, just the fact that he can kind of recognize the game, maximize that, and also the communication that he's mentioned too. What does that mean for the defense and the group there?
Yeah, I actually heard it on his interview, but he also told me in person.
Did he really? Okay.
Yeah, he was like, I know you. I thought he knew me from when we beat them in Denver on a Thursday night game. It was probably the boringest game in NFL history. But anyways, so I was telling him, we was talking about that game, and then he was like, nah, I remember you from when we scouted the Raiders. He ended up putting in his interview. But when we sitting off a whole year, when I say I was into the media, like I watched probably all your videos, everybody's videos, and I listen just what people say, just to get insight. I don't take it to the heart. People say whatever they want to say. So just being off on that year, I kind of been into the media a lot. I see all the likes, all the comments. I see everything, bro. And I'm into it. I'm like in the little community chats and all. I'm just watching what people say. And when I say y'all Eagle fans are crazy, but I love it, man. It's like y'all fired up. I'm fired up. And, it's a good thing for the people who didn't know me, and now that they starting to understand what type of player I am. It's kind of like with Christian Parker. He didn't know me personally, but now he's starting to understand me, and I think it's just all playing together right now.
The fan base is absolutely passionate. You're not wrong with that. There's a lot of it goes from the extremes very quickly, as you've obviously understood. Speaking about watching the media and staying tuned there. I'm curious if you have so far. I know goals and people talk about expectations, things like that coming in for a season. Having been away for so long, do you have any particular expectations for yourself? Do you have any goals that you set for hey? I'm just throwing something, make a Pro Bowl or whatever. Do you have any sort of expectations or goals for yourself for this year?
Only goal I really have now is just make it to week 1, man. I'm just ready to run out the tunnel for the first time in probably over 800 something days or whatever it's been. But just getting into that first one and just making that, probably the best moment again. Feeling like a kid again, running out the tunnel like a rookie. So I think that's my main goal. I don't think I have no number goal based off stats or anything, because every time I do that, I fuck up. So I just like to go out there and just make plays and just have fun while I'm doing it.
There you go. I can respect that for sure. I know Slay mentioned as well in his press, like, hey, DB room, it's locked and loaded. Everybody's ready to go. Competition in there. I think the iron sharpen iron. Maybe he didn't say that, but I've heard it from a number of other guys. What do you feel, or I guess what's the feeling in that room? Because everyone out on the outside looking in is like, man, there's I think 15 corners as of right now on the roster. It's lots of competition, guys battling for spots and everything there. It feels like there's good chemistry, but naturally everyone understands there's competition as well. What's the overall feeling and consensus of the secondary unit?
It's different. This hands down probably the best room anybody's been a part of since they've been in the league or in life. So I even told my coach that, and I was just sitting there at practice, just staring around, the room and the field, and I had asked him, I said, do y'all not understand you got a lot of starters in this room that could start anywhere right now? It was like, I said, how the hell did Howie pull this off? But, that's Howie. But I think the room is good, man, and a lot of people, like when I first got here, it's little things I do throughout practice, and they just started to watch me. Like, if you ever catch me, I'm just walking around like this, acting like I'm envisioning catching the football. And Tyler Hall come up to me like, yo, bro, what do you be doing? I'm just, just a vision catching the ball. So I think just me coming into that room, just telling them, the only motive I have every week is to try to make a play a day and a pick a week. And that's just one goal that I have throughout the week. And a lot of players have been taking that in consideration. So even Q, the rookie, he's like, yo, I'm going to start doing that. I'm like, bro, play a day, just try to get a PBU every day. If not, get a pick a week. So I think that's one thing that I've been preaching around the room, and it's been going pretty good. A lot of people been making plays. So
heck yeah, I love one play a day, one pick a week. I love that. Yeah. That is awesome. In fact too, I mean, obviously competition that we say, but Slay's been, throwing around this rumor of being, pretty fast, maybe faster. I know it's a little tongue in cheek and some joking around there, but in all honesty, I'm just curious if you guys were to line up right now, like you're taking it, right? Like if we're doing a 40-yard dash, we should clarify how long that is. A 40-yard dash, it's not even close, is it?
Nah, Slay don't stand a chance. Slay my boy, like he been talking about it, but hell no. I love you, Slay, but I'm gonna tell you now, hell no. Slay won't stand a chance in the race. No.
That's what I figured. I assume. I mean, heck, running a 4.28. Did you say you got faster? By the way, I think in the press, did you say you worked on getting speed in your hands? I think were the two things. Are you faster?
Definitely faster. I wasn't when I ran my 4.2. I wasn't even having that year off and doing a lot of explosive workouts. I'm definitely, if I'm not faster, because I haven't tested that like 40 or 60, but I know for sure I'm a lot quicker and twitchier. So I think this now is the prime of my speed, if that makes sense.
Let's go. Bro, that's I'm not gonna lie, that's scary because a lot of people see it and they go 4.28. They're like, that's insane. Yeah. And then the fact that it could be faster. Do you think maybe just to put you on the spot a little bit further, because then obviously the speculation and we may never actually know. But John Ross getting signed, everyone says, oh, the 4.22. Do you think you're the fastest on the team? Do you think you beat John Ross?
You started that question and said we may not know. I'm all for it to find out. Because I think hypothetically, I had this conversation in the locker room because a few, guys, they don't really know me for running because I moved backwards the entire time. But I even said, I think personally, and Paris Campbell said this as well in the locker room, I think it's out of me and John Ross on the team who's the fastest.
Yeah.
And John Ross is still moving. If he's not 4.22, he's probably 4.2, still 4.29 or something like that. But I don't see nobody on the team. They're fast, but John Ross is fast and I'm fast as well. So I think the setup probably had to be between me and John Ross.
I would love to see that. I know a lot of people that would pay to see that type of race. So I'm just saying, if that ever does happen, I'm going to be very curious.
I think I just have to finally race somebody who's fast, but Madden to boost my speed up from 94 because that's ridiculous. There's a lot of people in there who I know is not faster than me.
Come on, yeah, that's why I was like, you got to be kidding. What did someone have to do? I get that they want to try to be like, well, it's been a year or whatnot, but I'm like, are you serious? Yeah. Like, come on. It shouldn't take long. Let's just say that. The updated ratings, everything there, it's got to be much faster.
Yeah, we'll be fine. It'll be up by then.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I do got to mention, too, you talk about making a play a day, an interception a week, that playmaker ability. We heard some of the highlights from OTAs, getting the pick six. You go back, honestly, all the way to UMass, with the Indianapolis. Like, you've been making plays all throughout your career. And some guys, I don't know, for lack of a better term, some guys just have it, some guys don't. But it hasn't seemed to be an issue. I'm curious, has that been something, and maybe it does go back to what you were mentioning earlier with the mindset, but is that just something that you've always had or you've continually kind of grown at and worked at? Where does that come from?
Just always been doubted. And I think you just when I go out on the field, I just want to make plays and just prove people wrong, including proving myself. Just making plays and doing things that, I don't even think I could possibly do. Just coming off a year off, I'm shocking myself as well. But, like I told the players and I told my coaches, like, end of the day, I could have came out and made 10 interceptions throughout that week. None of that matters. It's OTAs. It's just 7-on-7. A lot of people are good at 7-on-7 and not good when it's time to put the helmet on in the pads. So I think my main motive right now is just to, make it to the next step, which is training camp and put the display on in front of the fans and in front of the media, in front of the coaching staff to show them like, oh, he can actually do this with pads on and running around with extra gear on, and it's not for show. So I think that's what my main thing is.
Definitely appreciate that. I think most people, understand. It's like, hey, I think Bobby King was the one in his press said the guys are running around in pajamas. So, it's like, all right, you got to take that next step. But still, to see those plays being made, getting the little highlights that we get, because the Eagles media is very limited, which is, makes it even harder for outsiders like us to be like, what's going on? We can't watch practice. We can't see anything. So I'm excited to see, like you say, actually getting there. I've got to ask because the public wants to know, and it's this constant thought of, people are like, oh no, Isaiah Rodgers, he can play the slot. He should play the slot. That's where he should go. Someone's like, no, he hasn't played many times in his career. I don't guess or even question that you could play the slot, but I'm curious, have you gotten any reps in the slot in practice? Has Fangio or Christian Parker talked to you about playing the slot at all? Is there any inklings on that, or is it strictly outside so far?
Man, see, this goes back to the last question about Christian Parker. Is he let me be me. The first day I got there, he sat me down in the office and asked me, say, what do you want to play, inside or outside? I'm like, are you serious? He was like, I already know the answer. I just want to know what you think. Bro, you're getting in here first, bro. I'm an outside corner. People look at it from my size and, he's supposed to. Because if you don't know me, you just look at the size, he's supposed to be in the slot. Mm-hmm. But no, I never played slot. I played it like a few times in Indy just if Kenny went down after my rookie year. Never did it again because at the end of the day, slot is just really an athletic outside linebacker you got to guard this receiver, which is something I can do, but you also got to expect me to get to the opposite A gap during run plays and things like that. And I'm pretty sure you don't want to put a 175-pound guy over there, and now I'm limited because now I'm injured. So I think keeping me outside is probably the best, not even for me, but for the team. And I think that's just something that is just always displayed. And I put enough tape out there for the league to see that I'm strictly an outside corner.
There you go. I love it. I appreciate the insight too, because it's been the question and the constant theme. I've been like, no, I think he's outside. I mean, I don't think that you could play it if you want to go slot, but it seems like outside there. So, and I love it also, just the extra insight with Christian Parker too, to sit down and say, hey, what do you want to play? What do you do best at? That just speaks volumes, as well as like the leadership and also, like you mentioned, exploiting the strengths on this team. Quickly to discuss or kind of bring up special teams here, because this is another area that it's one of your strengths. I mean, you talk about the speed, the kick returns on that side. I believe there were reports of you getting a little bit of reps there, returning kicks on that side. So I'm curious if that's something that you asked for, or did they just automatically, hey, this dude's returned some kicks, he's got the resume, or is it kind of a hybrid of both? Like, let's see if we can get him in there.
I think it's both. I think kind of like goes back to the outside or inside question. Like I could have played inside all 7-on-7 with it being no tackling. I could have probably played it great, but that's just not what I do. And I think them looking at the resume of knowing that, they probably just want to use my speed and knowing that I can, make the first man miss. And with this new style, once you do that, it's really nobody else there but the kicker. So I think that's the main thing, is they just looked at the resume and say, Isaiah can do it. And they asked me, I'm like, hell yeah. This is why I'm in the league,
Absolutely, yes. That's I actually kind of answered it there, because I was going to pose the next question to you of like the new kickoff rule changes and the differences of that side. Does it make it easier, you think, or more difficult? No one knows yet, because we actually haven't seen it in the NFL format. But I mean, hypothetically, as you look at it, it feels like, outsider looking in, it feels like it looks easier or makes it easier, because to your point, it's kind of like, hey, you hit a seam there and all of a sudden you're gone, especially with the speed that you have. Is that the same thought, similar thought there, or just curious on the new NFL rules?
I thought it was easier on paper. I was like, this is easy. But then we finally did it full speed, and I was like, holy. Because by the time you catch it, they're like already right there. Much that you can do with this. You can have one returner, two returners. You can do whatever you really want to do. So I think it's going to take some time. The preseason definitely is needed to test it out. But I'm ready to see, how the first few teams, the Hall of Fame game, how they do it. So I think this is going to be very, very interesting, though.
It's made it a lot more interesting, to your point there, because I think beforehand it was like, oh, okay, kickoff out of the back of the end zone, no big deal. No, you hardly had any kick returns, but now it's like, okay, we're going to see what happens. I am interested as well, because Michael Clay, special teams coach, is like, it's a little bit difficult, I could imagine, because it's like, hey, man, kick return has changed drastically now. And yeah, there's some film. You go look at the XFL and other rules that have been used and kind of implemented at times for that. But it's first case here, first time. To your point, preseason will be very important. But what has Michael Clay been like working with in brief, sessions there, and maybe trying to implement some nuances on the kick return?
He's hyped it. I think the first day I met him, he just started yelling at me like, my guy. I'm like, You would think we go way back to like high school, but now his energy is always, sky high from the team meeting. If you even go meet him personally, like just sit down, he's hyped. So I think his energy just translates to the field. And, when the coaches is hyped to play and they're not even playing, it has to feel into the players. So I think we all just got to buy into his energy, and it could be very, very good for us.
I love it, man. I can't tell you. I know lots of people are super hyped for this season, especially with this team. Having you in Philly, like I mentioned, the secondary unit that's competitive, the whole group, getting the coordinators, all that other stuff. Hype is through the roof. It's crazy, but like you mentioned as well, it doesn't really matter a whole lot until you actually get to the regular season, until you start proving that, and really until the confetti falls. That's the ultimate goal. Hopefully we get there. But I got to appreciate you again. Thanks so much for hopping on. This was a blast. For those that are watching, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. We're going to be doing a jersey giveaway, autographed jersey giveaway, by the way. So make sure to get signed up for that. There you go. There it is. It is official. But heck yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on as always. It's a blast.
Appreciate having me, man. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, best of luck to you as well, too. Off-season, training camp, regular season. We're looking forward to big things. But until next time, though, everybody, you know what it is. Go Birds.